Hello and welcome to Fully Charged. This is a really exciting episode for me. We've been very generously lent this, the performance version of the Model 3, to drive from here where we are at the moment in an underground car park in Copenhagen to Oslo. And we're going on an electric ferry to get across the sea. It's a very exciting day. Leaseplan, the company who've lent us this car, we're going to be talking to them later on in the show about what they're doing, because they're one of the biggest leasing companies in the world, and they're leasing hundreds and hundreds of these cars. These have just arrived in Europe, as a lot of viewers will know. I drove it last night for the first time for about a kilometre, and I can tell you it's not slow. It's really impressive. I really wanted to hate the Model 3 because I didn't want to be a Tesla fanboy. But as soon as I sat in one, I went, damn, it's really good. It's better than anyone else's car. Damn, 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 I'm a Tesla fanboy. Anyway, let's get going. So I'm being very careful because this is really the first time I've driven this car in daylight, even though I did drive it very briefly yesterday. And we're following another Model 3. I just think they look better. I mean, I've been driving a Tesla Model S, as many viewers will know, for the last 4 years. I love it, and I didn't think I'd ever find anything I'd love more, but I'm sitting in it now. I definitely love this more already, and I've driven it all of 3 kilometres. Whatever they did with the Model S, they've refined and they've got it right, and it just looks like a better car. It's more compact, it's tighter, it doesn't feel as cumbersome. We just had to drive out of the narrowest Danish car park exit. I couldn't believe this car would fit through it. It was quite nerve-wracking, and I seriously don't think a Model S would fit there. I don't think it would get through. There's a lot of people talked about the fact there was no kind of driver information directly in front of you, but it's there. I know exactly how far I've got, how fast I'm going. There's the sat-nav. It just seems very intuitive already. It's really nice, and I will just now briefly give the throttle a little blip. You may notice some... Oh, yeah, so it can go quite fast. So the things I know about this particular model is the performance model. It's four-wheel drive. As far as I know, and I'm going to have to confirm this because they've not advertised it greatly, it's got a 75 kilowatt hour battery. At the moment we've got 436 kilometres of range, which is about 260 miles or something like that. I just want to quickly point out that the wipers suddenly worked then because there's a bit of rain. I didn't do anything. It just knew to come on. And I'll tell you something else. The wipers in the Model 3 are better than the wipers in the Model S. Ooh, lovely wiping action. One little thing we should explain, which will explain the slightly unusual camera activity, is that when Stuart and George flew over last night, the bag with all the not the cameras, but all the camera mounting kit went somewhere else. We think it's somewhere between Amsterdam and Oslo at the moment, so we haven't got it. So we're doing handheld shots in the car, which is not something we normally do, which might explain that when I gave it the beans to get on the motorway, everything went a bit wibbly wobbly. But we're doing our best. So as far as I understand it, we need to charge a couple of times to be comfortable between Copenhagen and Oslo, and we're going to use a supercharger once, which is the standard chargers that all Tesla use, which is up to 120 kilowatts, but I'm hoping, we'll see if we've got time to do it and we can fit it in, to use an Ionity 150 kilowatt CCS charger. This Tesla has CCS, the European version has CCS input up to 150 kilowatts. And that will be the fastest charging we've ever done on fully charged. So Mathijs, while we're supercharging here, using CCS, it's so exciting. There's so many new things with this car. So you're leasing these cars?
Yeah, so we are one of the largest leasing companies in the world, and what we do, we purchase the vehicles, we fund them, we do all services to keep the vehicles on the road, and we do the remarketing after a typical leasing period of 3 to 4 years.
Right.
And we have a very clear target on electric vehicles because we want all of our vehicles, and we have at the moment 1.8 million vehicles on the road.
Right.
We want them all electric by 2030.
At the moment, then, the electric is a very small percentage of what you lease.
Yeah.
But it's
growing month on month. We're tracking it, and we see that the increase and the uptake of electric vehicles and the demand from the customers is increasing tremendously.
Because that's a really important point, because I was hearing a lot of doubters yesterday at a big conference in London about there's no public demand for them. But you get the feeling you're getting this from your customers. They're not saying we'd love a diesel and you're trying to give them an electric. They want the electric.
It's the other way around with some of the customers. They want more, and it's just currently not available. Some of the cars have quite a long waiting time.
Yeah.
But the demand is definitely there. Yeah.
Right. And then so you're not just leasing in the Netherlands or
no, we are active in 32 different countries worldwide.
Right.
Majority of our business is in Europe.
Yeah.
But we also active in the US, Mexico, Brazil, Australia. Yeah.
And now this car, I imagine there's quite a big demand to get a Model 3. Because how many have you got on your books at the moment?
So last month, the Model 3 was the most leased car worldwide for an electric vehicle.
Right.
Numbers around 400.
Right.
So we see that it's a very popular car in the leasing world.
So basically, if they sent you a whole shipload, you'd be able to lease them all. I mean,
basically.
That's just pretty good. So, I assume you lease cars in Norway. Yeah. Because that's, I mean, it's by far the biggest electric car market in the world. Yeah. And this summit, I'm kind of part terrified, part really excited to see it. I think, and you're attending there as well.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, this is where all partners come together, and this is so important at the moment, because what we see in the industry is that you need to partner up, you need to work together to electrify fleets like this. So it's a great event where all partners are, and we can connect to them and bringing the electrification even further.
Right. Yeah. Oh, good. Well, I mean, I want to thank you for a start for letting us have a drive in it, because it is absolutely amazing. We've now got to rush off towards Oslo, but the next stop is at the Ionity chunky charger. We're going to have a go.
Very interesting. And we're looking forward to see that one.
So let's catch up. Yeah? Catch up there. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Great stuff.
Hey.
The handling, the feel of it on the road is phenomenally secure. I mean, Johnny has driven this car a little bit, and he was blown away by it. It's very, very smooth and confident. I have autopilot in my Tesla Model S. I'm very used to that. I use it a lot, particularly on long highways such as we're driving on in Sweden at the moment. And I haven't used it in this car yet, and I'm going to try it now. I had to ask how to do it because it's slightly different. On the Model S, there's a little lever down here. Give it a double tap and you get autopilot switching on. With this one, you do one tap. That's now set. That's like cruise control. So that will maintain the speed. I don't take my foot off the accelerator. I don't need that. So there's someone, I'm doing exactly the speed limit, and that big Audi is going slightly faster, just to point that out. The way to engage autopilot on this car is to double tap that. So I go ding ding, now it's on, and immediately the car takes over. So I don't have to do any input of any sort. But same as in the Model S, if you don't touch the steering wheel, which I don't have to do, I can just sit here like that. It's a very straight road, there's nothing in front of us. But eventually, at some point, it will remind me that I should be holding onto the steering wheel. There. That quickly. So, and it then starts to flash blue, and if you still don't hold the steering wheel, it flashes red, and if you still don't hold the steering wheel, it disengages autopilot, and you can't re-engage autopilot until you've stopped, turned the car off, locked it, walked away, come back, and then it will get re-engaged. I know this from experience. So, but what I can see is it's even more refined than in the Model S. There's 12 cameras on this car and 14 ultrasonic sensors and front-facing LiDAR, which is why you don't hit anything in front. So we're coming behind a truck now, doing 110 kilometers speed limit, and we will slow down in a minute as we approach the truck in a bit. Yeah, now we're slowing down. And so now if I indicate, so I'll have to keep my hand on the wheel, but if I indicate, it does a broken line on the. I've checked that there's nothing coming. It then moves that out. I did nothing. to change lanes then, and it then accelerates back up to the maximum speed, and you overtake the other vehicles. So it's once you get used to it, it's very intuitive, and you kind of relax, and you do have to concentrate, you do have to have your hands on the wheel, but it removes a sort of top 10% of the tiring stuff of just sitting in a car driving for miles and miles down a road, which is what you do in cars, and it just makes it a lot easier, a lot less stressful. You don't have to kind of, it will never run into the vehicle in front. It keeps you at a good safe distance behind it, maintains exactly that speed, so your foot isn't having to do anything. If you touch the brakes, instantly it's off and you've got control again. So it's not like you can't get it back. You're always in a position where you get it back. And it took me a while to get used to it to start with, but this is just, you can just sense it's more refined, it's more aware of what's going on around it. When we're in heavy traffic, this screen is just full of little cars and trucks and vans, because it can see them behind, in front, to the side. So we're now seeing an image of this truck that we're about to overtake coming up on the screen, as well as I can see it there. But what is amazing, that would disappear at about this point in the Tesla Model S, and I can still see it behind us. There it is. So I know that I can't pull back in until I'm at a safe distance. So now if I indicate back there, the little line gets broken and we steer across to the other line, to the other lane. And then it straightens up in that lane, and the two lines that it's following are solid, and it's perfectly in the center of the lane. It is amazing, that stuff. Well, I mean, this car is built to be fully autonomous, to literally, it drives itself. I still have my doubts about the sense, the need, and the complexity of that task. But I know that, all motor manufacturers are pushing for that sort of fully autonomous capability. So we're about 100 kilometers from the Norwegian border in Sweden, and we've just stopped at these brand new, just installed Ionity chargers. This is a CCS charger charging the Model 3 up to, it's always important to point that out, 150 kilowatts, but it did get up to 132 kilowatts for a moment. It's gone back down to 125 now. So, it got up there. That's the fastest I've ever charged an electric car. It's 120 kilowatts. In the time I've been here, which is literally about 4 minutes, it's added 24 kilometers of range already. And it's adding 790 kilometers an hour, which is pretty impressive. So this is the last charge we have before we go to Oslo. So we're not far now. We've done the bulk of the journey. As always with these journeys, it's a bit longer than we thought. It's taken a bit longer, but we're getting there, and it's all really good. So I've been driving this Model 3, I love it, I tell you, I do love it, for probably 500-600k now today. Done quite a long drive up all the way up Sweden, and I've been wondering before I drove it what it would be like to have the driver information not right in front of you like you normally do on a dashboard, in between the steering wheel or just in front of you there, but to one side. Like, oh, that'll be distracting, that'll be really difficult. It's so easy. I got used to it in seconds, not minutes, not hours, seconds. It's there. So when I'm driving along there, I'm looking out the window, what's the speed limit? 110. What am I doing? 104. It's like really easy. I'm not distracted. I'm not wandering about the road. It's very, very easy to see. The sat nav super clear. I've now finally got through when we were stopping and charging. Had a look at the menu, so I now know how many watt hours a kilometre we're using. At the moment, we've just left the Ionity rapid chargers, which weren't amazing. They weren't breathtakingly rapid, but they were rapid enough. And we're doing 273 watt hours a kilometre. Well, on the last leg we were doing about 220. Yeah, that's what it'll get down to. It's now gone down to 270, so it's gradually going down now we've got going. So it's a really efficient car. It's got the best batteries of any electric car in the world. It's got this amazing range. It goes like, this car will go like stink if you want it to go like stink. It is the performance model. Autopilot, I am now going to say, is a little bit frisky. It's a little bit nervous, much more than the Tesla Model S. There's been a couple of times when I've been overtaking trucks and it's gone. It's like a sort of nervous horse. And it goes, and it suddenly brakes for no apparent reason. And there's nothing in front of you, but it thinks that the truck is. So it's like scared of the trucks. It's a big truck. So that took a bit of getting used to. The auto overtaking, which I'm doing at the moment on autopilot, I've learnt that is, don't let go of the indicator too soon, because if you're halfway across the white line, it goes, gets all scared. So there's, quirks, but on the whole, it is a remarkable, incredible car that comes out of a company that is 15 years old and is better than companies are producing that have been going for 115 years, so it really is, you've got to take your hat off to them. They just are brilliant at doing this stuff. The software is just perfect. It just works. Everything is really intuitive. You've got to spend a few minutes going, there's no buttons. That wheel, I've got wheels on there, so I can turn up music, but I'm not going to do it now because we haven't got copyright for Depeche Mode, which is playing at the moment. The other things I'm noticing about this car is the energy efficiency. So this particular model has two settings. It has chill, which is the one I like, or sport. I'm actually going to put it on chill now. Sport means it really has a lot of acceleration when you put your foot down. It is extraordinary. But what I'm noticing is at the point where we had 299 kilometers of range left in the battery, as it's reading here, we had 100 kilometers left in the journey. And what is clear is that the battery reading is gently optimistic, because we have done 16 kilometers in actual distance, but we've used 25 kilometers of the battery's range. But I knew we had 100 kilometers left, so that meant we should have had 199 kilometers of range left when we got to our destination, which is a supercharger. And I don't think we're going to have that. I think we'll have about 180. So it's not a problem. It's not like it's disastrous and we're going to have range anxiety or anything like that. But it's just one of those things you notice with electric cars, is it will say 350 miles or 400 kilometers range, and then you drive 380 kilometers and it starts getting a bit panicky. It's never quite as optimistic, and I just think you could tweak that with the software so that it was much more accurate. It is annoying. It is annoying that they can do it so well and everyone else is rushing to catch up and they're not really doing it as well. I'm talking cars that are of a similar price and a similar ability, similar range from the big manufacturers. I wouldn't compare this with the Nissan Leaf or Renault Zoe, which I think are brilliant for what they are. The cars that are coming out, the Honda, the Volkswagen ID, they're going to be in a different class, different category, and they are, I think, going to be equally impressive, but in a slightly different way. But this, for a sort of BMW 3 Series, that's the size of this car. This is just exemplary. It is just brilliantly built. It feels really solid and tight and contained, and the interior much better than the Model S, much better finish. Everything fits together really tightly. The doors really work well. Everything about it is just a step up, a real step up. This is my favourite Tesla, because I've just driven a Model X. I drive a Model S all the time. This is the favourite, definitely, far and above. And the fact that it's about half the cost of the other Teslas, I think this is brilliant. Anyway, I'm not going to wax on about this wretched car anymore. I want to hate it, and I can't. So I've done my first morning stint at the Nordic EV Summit here in Oslo. It's been an incredible experience because I've actually watched all the presentations. They're really good, really challenging stuff as well as really positive, optimistic stuff. Well, that's all we've got time for. I'd really like to thank Leaseplan for lending us the Tesla Model 3 performance model. Oh my God, it's an amazing car. We had a brilliant time coming up here. I want to thank the people who are organising the Nordic EV Summit. It's an amazing event. It's the Electric Vehicle Owners Association of Norway. There's a lot of them because there's a lot of electric cars here. It's been fantastic. Anyway, please do subscribe to Fully Charged. Please have a look at the Patreon link. No need to support it, but if you feel in the mood, that would be wonderful. Do check out the links to the live show in June. Amazing. Quite a lot of people who have appeared here, speaking here, are speaking at the Fully Charged live show, so you can see them in action. Brilliant stuff. There's the Fully Charged Almanac. I wouldn't even want to mention it, but have a look at the link on the webpage for that. And that's it. I can't say any more. As always, if you have been, thank you for watching.